All right. So now then, believe we will start with uh, the Lieutenant and Cornwallis, as are investigating the carriage, which by this point has been hauled away from its where it came to rest after its accident. Important to note that the fact that the lieutenant shot the axle of the carriage was left out of the report that was made to Mrs. Featherston right after a pledge of "we're going to be honest with you." Yeah, it just
I don't
broke.
think that's actually what I said.
And we were told that the blue tunnel was inside the carriage when he looked in, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't like in the street or anything. Okay.
No. It was inside the carriage. It was.
Okay.
He pried open the door and saw a glowing blue tunnel of light that vanished.
Do we know where it's been hauled off to?
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
constables?
Yes. At this point, it has been hauled off to a holding yard for the London Police Department, the Central Holding Yard. We're going to call it. A little early for impound lots and whatnot, but they have to have some place to put big things where that are involved in crimes.
All right.
So,
Closer, we can get a closer look to this, see if there's anything I missed before.
Yes. Do I have any equipment? I mean, we haven't run into too many aliens, my understanding, but have I developed any kind of equipment for analyzing alien signature kind of thing, or not really?
I'm sure that you've got something, and because you guys have been in operation for a bit, and you guys been mostly kind of examining and cataloging strange artifacts and whatnot. So
Okay, well, tell me how many story points this will take, because what I'm trying to think of is almost a Ghostbusters like PK meter, kind of to read alien signatures, kind of thing, energy readings, or the equivalent of. I'm willing to spend some story points if I need to.
yeah, give me a story point, and you can have something like that. Yes.
All right.
It's not going to be given the limitations of technology this time. It's not going to be as as compact as a Ghostbusters PK meter.
Oh,
but,
no. It's a full shoulder rig.
But yes, no, it's totally possible for you to have something like that. You're a brilliant scientist who thinks outside the box. I can see that.
And you have the entirety of the Victorian steam age technology available to you, steampunk technology.
Yeah. So with that, I pull up on a big backpack. I've got a big old suitcase that comes with it with a hose attached to it. And I pull down the goggles. I'm ready.
Good Lord, man. What is that?
Obviously, for alien signatures, how else are we going to be able to read them?
Yes.
Now, I need to walk kind of behind you right now while I have this on. I can't really see other than the signatures. It's a little dark. You know what? Let's wait till we get to on site. Okay. I'll hold off.
Yeah, that's easier.
Yeah, I get more than a few odd looks as you arrive at your destination there. There's no way that's compact or concealed.
Yeah. No. I just put a blanket over it.
I feel like Jay in Men in Black. Oh, the dog owes my friend money.
So, yeah, you guys arrive, and it's essentially what is kind of it's kind of like a warehouse essentially, which are kind of coming up on there. It's, got signs on police property, no trespassing, official official business only kind of things.
Is there a guard house?
Oh yeah, you got them. There's like that like a window, like a window there. It's like you can see like there's some a door that's kind of it's kind of like a half glass kind of a thing, kind of frosted a little bit, and there's a light on in there, so someone's home.
Okay, so I go up there.
Takes a moment, hear some rustling, door comes open, got a guy in a police uniform, kind of looks like, this is police property, no trespassing.
Oh, show my credentials. I'm with the Queen, officials Queen's business. We're to investigate a carriage that was brought in here earlier.
He kind of looks at it, kind of turns and is like, well, of course, yeah, must be that that blue beast of a thing they drug in here. Took a whole team of them. That thing is, I don't even know how that qualifies as a carriage, but
it's a rather large carriage. Yes, I do agree.
But well, yeah,
Barnaby sometimes like. Just never mind my phone.
Yeah. As you're talking, he's kind of drift. You can tell his attention is drifting. Kind of one of those things like where he's like looking past you to well, yeah. It kind of comes out and kind of comes, of course, the doors of into the actual warehouse are locked, and so he unlocks it and kind of throws it over. Like, oh well. There you go. If there's anything else, you can't miss it. It kind of points, and it's back a ways, but it stands out here in this warehouse there.
All right.
Very well.
It's Barnaby. It's that one over there. No, not that one.
What? Okay. This okay.
Put your goggles up.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yes. No, keep your goggles up till you get there.
I gotta make sure I don't see anything. Well, okay. Doesn't appear anything. A trail.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing that you do notice that for something that it's this blue tunnel of light should have put out a significant amount of energy. Didn't leave any kind of a trail behind, because you can clearly see where this thing has kind of been drug in a bit here, because it's got a broken axle and it's heavy as hell in terms of carriage goes here. But yeah, there's no energy leakage that you can detect. You're just getting your normal kind of background readings and whatnot.
Well, without the sign of a trail, it must be some kind of space-time loop. Folding in on itself. Let me. I just started actually crawling up into the carriage and.
All right, so you actually approach the carriage itself, and it's just kind of there. I feel like there should be like some mechanics here or something. Where is your character sheet, Mr. Cornwallis?
No need to look there. I have all the skills.
You have all the skills. You've got the math skills. Nice. But why don't you give me ingenuity and science?
Okay, so 9.
Industry and technology.
That is only 15.
Only 15. Still, that's a tricky level of difficulty. So you're approaching the carriage itself, scanning, and you notice something incredibly interesting. That, of course, you can see the carriage with your eyes when you don't have your goggles. It's clearly a thing that's there, but when you're actively got your goggles on scanning, you cannot see the carriage. It's not giving off any kind of residual energy, background, anything. It's just kind of like a dead spot.
And this is not the goggles are too dark kind of reading. This is
No.
absence of an object being there.
It's an absence of an object. Like, you have the goggles on, you're kind of scanning, and so you can see, everything's got some kind of, residual energy, energy vibration stuff. So it's like, the equivalent of like when you have like, thermal, like night vision goggles or thermal vision or something like that. Everything is kind of weirdly colored, but you can still see objects and whatnot there. Except for this carriage.
Is it this might be getting too specific, but is it is it the shape of the carriage where the carriage is absent, or it's just like an aura?
It's the shape of the carriage. It's just like
shape of the carriage, just missing.
Just missing. Nothing from it, nothing from inside of it, nothing.
Huh. Kind of reach up to knock on it.
It's a weird ping when you knock on it. It's metallic, but it feels. You feel a lot of metals. I mean, you work with things and stuff. Yeah, it doesn't feel anything like anything you've handled. Almost kind of cool, even though it's the rest of things, everything else is kind of room temperature-ish.
Have I analyzed inside it, or is this just the exterior?
This is the exterior. This is just you're kind of examining the outside of it.
I'm going to start opening it up to be able to crawl inside, but as Lieutenant Fogwood, even though this is, I don't know, let me get your opinion. I don't know if you work with metal or anything, but this, I don't know, I'm getting an odd sensation here. It's colder than what it should be. My readings are almost saying it doesn't exist, even though oddly, knock, 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 it's here. I don't know if you have.
I don't think Fogwood would know anything about metals.
He was told to incorporate more people in his stuff and try to not, act like he knows it. Also, he's trying to be sociable here.
I got one in technology.
You know what? Roll it.
Okay.
Give me the ingenuity and technology.
So that's 4. Plus my roll of 10, which is a 14.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, and in your career as a military officer, you've been the Zulu Wars and whatever other campaigns you've been in. It doesn't sound like anything that you've heard of in terms of actually, coming in contact with or anything like that. And you've seen a lot of things, but most metals are, pretty standard that you've bumped into. You do remember, however, also coming from your campaign in Africa, some talk of from one of the some of the stories that that some of the natives that were part of your traveling part of your traveling party, talked about strange things that fell to earth that stayed cold even when it was hot.
And this is cold, this metal?
Yes.
Well, during the war, there was talk about metal that fell from the sky that remained cold even when it was hot. I never experienced this. I only heard the stories.
Aha. Okay. No, I don't have anything. I crawl into the carriage.
So, well, before you go crawling into the carriage,
Oh, okay.
you open the door, and once you open the door, the interior, however, just kind of lights up almost like a Christmas tree. You can see the interior of this thing, and centered right where in the Lieutenant's story was this tunnel of blue light. You can see it shows up kind of like you're looking at the after image of something.
Mm-hmm.
And like a bright light happens, and you have like the weird flashy things in your eyes. Stuff. It's like that kind of after image. Just kind of this swirling pattern, just kind of right there in the center of the carriage.
I think I have discovered the Americans' blue tunnel.
It wasn't the Americans, it was the Lieutenant's tunnel.
That'd be my blue
The
tunnel.
lieutenant. Okay, my apologies. Okay, I forgot who. I think I discovered your tunnel, Lieutenant.
What?
At
I'm
least
gonna
from the.
look in there too.
Is it visible to you?
See the interior as it more or less was the last time you when the tunnel faded.
Was the tunnel right around here? I'm going to place my hand kind of where that after image is, so that I die.
Yes.
Yes, there's kind of where your retinas will still perceive something that's gone, like a camera flash. The brightness, the spots before your eyes. That's what it's registering as right now. I'm gonna climb in and get closer to it, because obviously getting close to some strange thing is the better way to examine it.
Best way to do it is to do that thing. I like it.
And as I'm sucked into the vortex, I hope that you better will know where I am.
Well, why don't you give me?
Oh, great! There's a roll for this.
There's a roll.
It's always a roll.
It's always a roll.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, this is going to be another ingenuity and science roll, but I think your astrophysics will come into play here.
Okay. And that's actually an 11 then. Plus, you know what? This seems important. I'm going to spend a story point. I don't know why this feels important. Oh, good thing I did. Okay, so with that extra, it's 22 total.
Oh my! So you get closer. you get closer to this, right?
Yes, I do.
And
almost like right up on it, you could say.
Almost like right up on it. And so you're essentially, where this spinning vortex is. And you're getting some incredibly fascinating readings, right?
Oh yeah.
And your astrophysics is there, and you're reading it, and it's an impressive, highly localized, you wouldn't call it like a necessarily it's a highly localized kind of disturbance in space and time that you're looking at that probably could have been used to travel through it. What this blue tunnel is. It clearly creates an instantaneous bridge between inside of this this carriage and wherever someone wanted to go.
Fascinating. With my insatiable curiosity, I'll turn over to Lieutenant Fogwood and say, Lieutenant, this is the way they could travel. I believe this is how they escaped from the carriage. I believe right through here. And I'm going to step through the after image if it's possible. Whether anything happens or not, that's what I'm doing, obviously, because this is amazing.
I like your style. I really do.
Famous last
So you're wearing all of this equipment.
Yes, I am.
I said with that 22, you just know that someone with a tremendous level of technology has accomplished this, right?
It's definitely alien in nature.
This is almost like this kind of flare, right? This kind of weird, almost like J.J. Abrams-esque lens flare that kind of comes across your scanner vision. And it's almost like you're starting to fall. And let's see. So yeah, you're starting to. It's like you're almost starting to like fall, even though there's nothing to fall into. There's like a hole or anything like that. From your perspective, Lieutenant, of course, Dr. Cornwallis has got this ridiculous amount of gear on. It lights up all of a sudden. You can see like all the lights and like the gauges and everything just kind of peg out on this thing, and that's probably not a good thing. It's hard to tell with the stuff that Dr. Cornwallis invents. But then you notice that he starts to just kind of fade.
Barnaby?
This is a weird, echoey kind of.
I reach out to try to grab him.
Definitely alien in nature.
All right. So yeah, you reach out to grab him, and you make contact, and there's this weird kind of, I don't know if I doubt your character's ever been electrocuted, but it's kind of that weird kind of static electricity field that suddenly covers your entire body. And you also start to kind of feel the kind of weird sensation of falling where there's nothing to fall into.
Send Barnaby on a mission, things happen. Not necessarily good things, but things happen. I love our running commentary.
Rhyming commentary.
Yes, rhyming commentary.
Doing it in the form of a sonnet.
What a way to go.
That'll happen. So yes, this weird sensation of falling is taking over you. Is overtaking you.
Okay.
If it's at all possible, Barnaby is trying to analyze his equipment readings as he falls. So if he survives this, he will have a lot of data. There's no way to record this data in this error. So
They say money can't buy.
All right, so you're trying to analyze the data. Lieutenant Barnaby just, he doesn't seem to be terribly worried about what's going on. What are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to get him out there.
All right. So
it's 5 more seconds.
This unfolds.
Give me. All right, so we're gonna roll. It's gonna be a couple of attributes this time. It's gonna be coordination and strength.
Oh, good. Oh, bad.
No, no.
Does it matter if I roll a 1?
Just A1? No.
Okay. So I got a total of 4, 8, 9, 12.
Normal. All right. Well, that was not a great roll. There was a 10. You're pretty certain you can pull yourself back, but if you're holding on to Dr. Cornwallis, it doesn't. You don't know that you're gonna be able to. It doesn't feel like you're gonna be able to pull yourself from back.
You're welcome, John.
Okay. So I'm saying, Barnaby, come back. Follow my voice.
The readings on this are amazing.
To bloody hell with the readings. Save yourself.
What? Oh, I don't know. I don't think Barnaby would be able to resist this. I know William knows he needs to reach out and just tell everyone where I am.
Well,
I don't know yet.
I can't leave you there.
Am I feeling any effects like, lack of atmosphere or those kind of things where I'm physically in danger other than the sensation of falling?
Well, other than the sensation of falling, no, you don't feel like you're in any danger.
Okay. I'll be fine. You can get lots of research. I don't know how long we actually have in this at this point.
I'm not going to go back to Torchwood and say all this.
We're just supposed to look at the carriage. What do you mean you lost Dr. Cornwallis?
We have learned the peril of showing up and not having the goods.
So I'm going to wait for Barnaby to come back.
You're better off just going after him.
Sorry to put you in a difficult position here or there.
Because if he doesn't come back and you can't get to him, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going back to Torchwood.
If he doesn't return, I quit.
Lieutenant's just going to go home and update his resume.
Never see Lieutenant Fogwood again.
All right, so you're going to pull yourself back, and Barnaby is going to fall.
I'm getting tons of data. I mean, kilobytes of data.
Selfless.
What?
Almost a megabyte of data. Oh wait, we're not even into that point.
I don't.
Okay,
Yeah,
Never
none
mind.
of those words have been invented yet.
We're getting scores and scores of data.
You would say volumes, probably.
Look around and see if I can find a
Volumes.
rope.
Yeah. You aren't getting it.
I'm sure there's a rope around here someplace. Probably, anchoring something down there and whatnot.
I'm going to throw the rope into where I think the vortex is.
All right. So as the rope follows the still kind of it's almost like in Back to the Future when Marty McFly's family was fading out of the photos. Like there's this weird kind of ghostly vanishing Dr. Cornwallis, and the rope just kind of see. I've never seen that ghost person, so I don't know. I don't know how that ends. But so like the rope kind of makes contact with where Cornwallis was standing, and the course kind of fade a bit, kind of weirdly falling into nothing.
You see the rope?
Do I see it?
Yeah, behind you there is a rope that's approaching.
Am I, as I've been analyzing all this data, have I gotten a lot of information?
Oh yeah, all sorts of them, all sorts of information, and you've the nature of this of this tunnel. It's definitely it's definitely a artificially created bridge, a wormhole, so to speak, between allowing the instantaneous well, when it's working properly, the instantaneous transportation between 2 points. You've it would seem that your equipment tuned to it like it is has experienced some kind of power surge when interacting with the field, and has kind of forced open the, for lack of a better word, scarred, the scar tissue left in the fabric of space and time that you're now kind of slowly falling through.
See, I just.
But you feel like the end is approaching.
I know.
Not like your death. I mean, like the end of your fall is approaching.
Okay. Yes, I see the rope. Use it to climb down.
No, you use it to climb up.
I'm almost to the bottom. I can't quit now.
God's sakes, man, save yourself.
This is for science.
It's better than anything, really.
I will be remembered forever. You probably get the feeling that I'm not going to be giving this one up.
And
Barnaby is either unaware of the danger he's in, or he just doesn't care.
And as Dr. Cornwallis fades, the last of Dr. Cornwallis fades completely from your view, Lieutenant, I believe we will end. Suddenly, Dr. Cornwallis, you getting this weird whiplash, and there's kind of a flash in front of you that momentarily disorient you. Believe we will smash cut from there to next on our list is Dr. Hale. So, Dr. Hale, we find you where we left you last in the lab there at Torchwood. getting a bit crowded in here. Let's now have a pair of dead bodies and the cage that still holds the coroner in it.
It's not even my birthday.
Right now.
No.
Yeah, you've got also there. You've got the there's the notes from the coroner's office. There's the notes also from the coroner's office, where we discovered that apparently he had been doing some amateur sleuthing into the grisly murders that's been plaguing the city of late. The Fitz took a cursory look at that and found that most of his findings were completely off base, although there was the important note that the only body that had been mutilated post-mortem was the most recent one, Mr. McNamara. Everyone else was murdered, but did not have any limbs or anything removed, like Dr. McNamara had. Also, these guys did obtain a significant amount of the Lewiston's restorative tonic for testing.
Well, since these bodies are going to end up smelling bad in the next day or two, might as well do those first.
All right. Looking good autopsy montage.
Ooh. Let's start with the coroner's wife.
All right. Let's have... see. Gonna be ingenuity, medicine, and I think your biochemical genius will come into play here.
2d6, right?
Yes, 2d6. And you'll add total of 9 to it.
16.
Nice. So you started with the coroner's wife.
Yep.
You find that her cause of death a bit different than the other victims, or the other victims, if you want to count all of the murder victims, those have been murdered. Whereas those had significant, tearing injuries and had been, assaulted, somewhere about the head in order to daze them long enough to allow them to be murdered. The coroner's wife, she actually died of essentially blunt force trauma. She was beaten to death. It looks like probably thrown about the room a bit from the look of it as well. It does look like she put up about as much of a fight as someone could when facing one of these creatures without, weaponry or fighting skills. You find, under her fingernails, you find some skin tissue that matches, that at least at first glance anyway, matches what the coroner looked like when he was brought in beast mode, as opposed to now. You do not find any traces of monster serum, for lack of a better term, on her or inside of like much like you found him in Dr. McNamara. You don't find anything like that. You do find, however, in her blood, you don't find full-on monster serum. You do find some components of the monster serum. Not enough to trigger any kind of change or anything like that. It's almost like it's an incomplete part of it. And it's a pretty good concentration of it. It's not something she would have picked up from incidental contact. It's something that is quite possibly been accumulating in her bloodstream for some time.
Any, to put it politely, traces of her indiscretion found?
Yes. It would seem that she had been sexually active in not too terribly long before she expired.
All right. And then moving along to
The Irishman?
Mm-hmm.
All right. One roll can cover both of them. I'm not going to make you roll again. Spending some time with the Irishman, you find that his attack matches up more or less with the other creature victims. He was assaulted first, quite possibly taken by surprise, stunning him, making it to where he could not resist much at all, if at all, when attacked. The cause of death would be trauma and blood loss as a result of the creature, tearing him more or less apart, much like the other victims have been. He does not, he's not missing any hands or feet or anything like that. So he matches with the other victims that before McNamara. You do not find any monster serum in him or any components thereof. His body and tissues are clean of anything monster serum related. Let's see. And you find that he probably wasn't in the greatest of health, not terribly surprising given his employment and social status. And you find that he was also sexually active not long before he expired.
Okay.
Okay, and moving on to analyzing the tonic.
Analyze the tonic, right. Let's see, for that, let's have another ingenuity, science and biochemical genius roll.
$13.
That's normal difficulty. So you analyze the tonic, guaranteed to enhance the body's spirit and to increase vim and vigor, as it says on its label. You find that it's non-toxic, So there's at least that. People aren't being poisoned. Important things that you find in there. You do not find that it is full of monster serum. Drinking this will not turn you into a monster or cause any kind of transformations. However, you do find components, some of the components of the monster serum in this tonic. They are the same components that you found in the bloodstream of the coroner's wife. Not said, it's like an incomplete version of the formula. Not going to, I said, in this form, it's not going to cause any kind of transformation, violent behavior, anything like that. If anything, its chemical makeup would seem to suggest that it might actually, actually kind of does what it says on the bottle. It probably, trigger a release of endorphins and make you feel very good about yourself and kind of pep up the adrenal glands and whatnot and make it feel like you're full of energy and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, long-term use would probably might be a bit dodgy, but in the short term, yeah, drinking this would definitely put some pep in your step, probably make you sharper mentally for a while, like a mega dose of caffeine. Also, probably a significant level of addiction is involved here. Is kind of get hooked on something like that.
Actually going to take another sample of the coroner's blood.
What doctors do in this game?
Torture people, take their blood. It's what we do. Okay, we have a role. What was that?
I said, yeah, but I'm not doing it just to torture people. Some doctors.
Oh, I analyze.
I'm doing it for science, damn it. All right. So in the coroner's blood, you find, he's got and he did transform. So you find the after effects of the you find the after effects of the serum and the antidote that that you've given him, but you also find in much higher concentrations the same components that you found in the tonic and in the coroner's wife's bloodstream, indicating that at least part of the serum has been accumulating in his bloodstream and his body tissues because of absorption for quite some time before he transformed.
I wonder what would happen if I mix the serum and the tonic together.
Well, certainly an experiment that you could you'd have no problem doing there. And that's given your experience with stuff there, no real role necessary. So yeah, you set that up and you combine the components that you've got there, the tonic with the serum, and it recombined into the actual monster serum. It uses the components there and becomes monster serum. Rather potent one too.
Where did I put those rats?
Plenty of rats floating around to Plenty of rats floating around for you to experiment on.
Refresh my memory. Didn't Barnaby built a cage for the rat, right?
Yes. When you guys want to leave it overnight, built a cage to keep it from breaking out and going on a murder spree, and also with a self-destruct mechanism in order to keep them from murdering, to put it down in case it got too murdery.
And oddly enough, a miniature of one of those gloves so they can tear it apart.
Well, let's put that rat in that cage and inject a little serum in there.
You do that, and it starts transforming. Almost the finger gloves are still in development. It starts transforming pretty soon, pretty quick after you administer the serum there. And it starts moving through the stages of transformation. And it moves through them quicker than the last one, as a matter of fact.
Oh, dear God. Else that's not a rat. Funny, you know.
You.
Oh, my. That's a thing that happened.
Why? It's
disturbing on so many levels.
Every time you look at it, you see something new and disturbing. It's like, I didn't see that.
There. I'm going to leave the rat alone for now.
All right.
Make sure I note everything that I discovered.
All right.
Assuming that we don't have any kind of for these bodies.
The refrigeration technology isn't necessarily as refined as it is these days, but it does exist. So I think it would be I would think that you've got some place to put bodies.
Cover them back up and wheel them wherever they need to be wheeled to.
All right.
Thanks for now.
So you do that. And from there, we will smash cut to Mrs. Featherston.
So,
the almighty panda speaks to us.
Oh yeah, if I suddenly mute myself, it's because I'm having coughing fits out here. So, which I'm sure you can hear, but for everyone else.
Oh, sorry.
Me too. I totally can hear you talking in the other room, but I can't hear you in here. Hello.
No one said anything. I don't.
Yeah, I think he's locked up on our side.
Locked up.
Damn it.
Wonder if it's one of those he can hear us clearly, but we can't hear him. Like Wednesday.
That totally happened on the phone earlier. I just kept talking for the next 5 minutes. He thought it was very enjoyable. I thought it was very enjoyable because I got to talk and no one interrupted me. I even sang a little bit for him. Poor Bryce. So I win the game. We catch the murderer.
Yep, we figured it all out.
Yeah, good. Good for us.
So for next campaign.
There's 2 of him now.
There is.
That's right.
Uh-oh.
And they have like.
It always does
And
that
it's like
hiccup.
it's kind of scary.
I know.
I've cloned myself in order to better GM this game. All right, so that was a fun little connection hiccup that I had back here, which is awesome. So, yes, you were going out to meet Detective Woosley there. Woosley.
There are very long periods in this house where we just repeat Woosley to each other.
It's a fun name. We can all get behind this.
Somebody, her family was a sheep farmer. Just admit it.
Wouldn't that be Wolseley instead of Woosley?
Precise. Which means you were probably Irish or something.
Yeah.
Don't deny it. You changed your name, but we can tell.
Just like Mr. McLaughlin was. So, the detective is not at the precinct.
What?
Well, there's a murder scene he's overseeing the discreet handling of there per his discussion with Fitz and Dr. Hale.
Well, I'm certainly not going to chase him all over the county. Besides, the information I want is here. Does he have an assistant?
Well, yeah. I mean, we assigned one of the lads to be his kind of his runner there. Whatnot? Is that what you're looking for?
It will do. Until his arrival, I would like to peruse the files and reports gathered by the missing undercover agent or undercover officers.
So that's hard to kind of, what was that? One of those things where it's kind of unusual for a woman to be A, giving orders, and B, wanting to look over the files, but like, well, okay. I mean, certainly. I mean, some of those some of those things might be a bit unsavory. They may not be fit for consumption, if you know what I mean.
Quite. Unfortunately, it seems that I have been tasked with this responsibility. I must see it through to the end, but I appreciate your concern.
Well, all right. If that's what you want to do, I guess. Like, go so he turns to like someone's like, go get that O'Malley kid. You can help out help her out here. Like, one of the officers disappears and comes back with incredibly young-looking officer there. Like, O'Malley, this is Mrs. Featherston. You're gonna give her whatever she needs. All right. Yeah. What can I help you with?
I would like to see the reports of your missing officers that were assigned to the case in... I lost the name of the barrows.
The Old Nickel.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Come right this way.
I will go that way.
So yeah, he leads you to rooms or leads you to Detective Woosley's current office. And not using it right now because he's not here.
I will make myself comfortable at his desk.
a little bit of a double take from O'Malley. They're just kind of sitting behind the detective's desk. Of course, Scotland Yard detective. Everyone else is like, falling over themselves to help him out there. So he disappears, and like 10 minutes later comes back. He's got got a couple stacks of some paper there, dusty folders and whatnot. So here's what we've got from officers Jackson and Alexander, man.
I'm going to read through the reports, look for anything unusual, suspicious, etc. I will look for a clue.
You will look for a clue.
You don't have to make me roll. We've already decided we solved the case, so.
Oh, well, I'm glad. So who did it then?
Well, we can't tell you. That would be spoiling the end of the story for you.
Oh, I see. Oh, well,
in the lobby with the axe.
All right. So why don't you give me awareness and knowledge and law.
Okay. Awareness plus knowledge, 9.
And +2 for your law bonus there.
Thank you. 9, 10, 11. Plus 7 is 18.
Right.
Right.
So you're looking through these reports, and a lot of them are pretty standard, duty reports from officers, from a pair of officers, right? And you're knowledgeable in law and the matters of that. And these officers seem like they're very much, above board, kind of by the book officers, right? They dot their I's, they cross their T's, all of that stuff. So you can see, makes sense that if you're gonna, send a couple people, undercover, two pretty good candidates to do that kind of a thing, and they score very well on their fitness scores. They've each got a couple of commendations. So they got a pair of model officers here, it would seem. It's funny looking. He was shortish, tallish. So on the surface, these guys look like they're all over it there. But you've rolled a 16.
I rolled at least 16.
At least 16, and then I clicked the wrong thing, and now I got the App Store popping up on my screen. Let's go ahead and do that out of the way before it tries to crash something like that.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He crashed.
Oh, poor Bryce. I'm not having issues.
I know. It's like, we always thought it was
Maybe
just
it's
the
because my
internet in your
camera's
house.
off, though.
Mm.
This takes us back to our early sessions.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's
Oh,
a thing. Stuffed it out through those.
When Bryce had the cellular internet connection.
I know.
It's because he has a stupid computer.
Well, we're trying to tell him.
Well, now we know what to get him for his birthday.
Yeah, I do. not an Apple product.
Ooh.
You know, if we'd have said that, then it would have been fighting words, but because you said
Yeah, we fight all the time about it. It's fine.
it.
He knows my PC is superior.
Wow.
I cannot give you this.
It's kind of like here if a White Sox fan married a Cubs fan.
Oh yeah, and I'm a Vikings fan and he's a Packers fan. It's all bad. My family legitimately, like, I introduced him. I'm like, so he's a Packers fan and he has a Mac. And they were like, we don't know which is worse.
So how serious is this thing between you?
Well, it's okay because the Packers sucked so hard this season. They're like, it's acceptable. It's forgiven.
Yeah. Well, you know, let's talk about why. Let's just talk about why they sucked. They sucked because linebackers are dirty players and broke my quarterback.
What's really awesome is the next time they ask me, once time you need to tell them why it sucked, reach in your pocket and pull out clearly an old folded up list. Unfold it and read slowly. All 42 reasons why they suck.
Okay, I have a picture of Bryce in a Viking sweater, so I win every argument.
It's blackmail forever.
I was wearing it as an ugly sweater because it's hideous.
But see, the thing is, the pictures don't really show the reasoning; they just show the evidence.
Okay.
Just putting that out there.
That's awesome.
So I've turned my camera on to see if my computer now crashes because you are having issues.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what's going on there. I think the Wi-Fi is getting a bit twitchy on my computer. I think that's what my actual issue is. But
you know that fruit occasionally does spoil and go bad.
Oh. Just keep planting those seeds, Will.
I'm
going to be in the vortex forever.
I'm just saying, as someone whose character is falling through a hole in space and time, maybe this is the time to kiss up to the GM, not insult his computer. I don't know, but maybe you have to live dangerously. It's me, but whatever. Do you, man? All right, so as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by my computer doing whatever it is that it wanted to do there for a moment. So yeah, on the surface, see, they have two, honey.
The room in the Dells is under my name. I can cancel that at any time. Putting that out there.
Anytime.
We're gonna bring you to the Mac store up there.
That's right. Yeah, you know, and this twitchy Wi-Fi thing. I gotta have internet connection. I can drop $2,000 on the computer, right? It's good.
Yeah. You can go. You guys can go do that, and because I'm from Minnesota and I can actually deal with cold weather, I will go walk to a coffee shop somewhere.
I can deal with cold weather. Anywho. So, yeah, on the surface, model cops, perfect in every regard. Too perfect from the way you look at it, though. No one has their stuff in this order. So the fact that there is almost absolutely nothing suspicious strikes you as suspicious. I mean, there's like, I mean, these people are in, these people are, just, I said, like if you had like a recruiting poster for police officers, these two would be it.
So what exactly was I given?
You were given both the personnel files and like the last 5-6 months of their actual reports and whatnot. Like duty reports, reports that they were, incident reports, that kind of thing.
Okay. Neat. So, how long have they been in service?
Let's see. Jackson has been on the force for 3 years. Alexander has been on the force for 2 years. They have been partners for about 8 months now.
Okay. I don't know what other questions to ask. I feel like I need to wait for Woosley to get here.
Well, it's going to take you a while to sort through all that. So you're sitting there sorting through all this stuff when the door opens and Woosley comes into his office and finds you behind his desk. So I'm assuming that's where you're sitting, behind his desk.
Well, yes, of course.
So I was like, the desk sergeant said you're Mrs. Featherstone.
She's got all the paperwork out in front of her, and she kind of glances up and then kind of flips a page and says, "Yes, please sit down."
So he just kind of looks incredulous for a moment and then kind of sits down in front of his own desk.
Cat seat. I hear that you and your staff have been doing an excellent job investigating this terrible situation.
Well, yes. We're doing all that we can, of course, to bring these bring the perpetrators to these heinous crimes to justice. Although I hear you guys have they say Torchwood? You guys have someone in custody for this? That coroner fellow, Maltby.
Yes. However, we do not believe he was the original perpetrator. He was just mimicking the crimes.
Hey, God, there's more of these things out there? More people doing this stuff?
Unfortunately, yes. Seems he had taken quite an interest in this case prior to murdering his wife and his wife's lover.
Well, it's unfortunate that I'm sorry to hear about their deaths, of course, and didn't really know them that well, Suppose coming home to find your wife having an affair might do strange things to a man. I don't know why we're taking an interest in this case. It's not he's just a coroner. What is he doing?
Well, as I said, that wasn't the original case.
Oh, yes, there's some other ones where we kind of hoping that the arrest would cover all those, but now you're telling me that someone else doing that.
That is our belief. And it seems you have 2 missing officers as well, do you not?
Yes. Why the yard got involved and started losing officers there? Is it Jackson and Alexander? Fine fellows. Read their files. They're model officers. They're commendations, good arrest records, well liked by the guys, stable chaps.
Do you know who they were reporting to? I have their files in front of me, but I can't seem to track down the name of their, what is the term you use, handler?
Ah, yes, their handler. That was Willoughby. Was there handling special projects and whatnot like that before we got involved, of course. And picked these two for that. No, didn't have to. They volunteered, actually, as I recall. He said, yeah.
Hold on, Andrew's putting the cart in front of the horse, I think. So let me, I need a refresher. So archaeologist dies. No, wait, newspaperman dies.
Newspaperman dies. There's
Newspaperman
outrage.
dies. Yep, there's outrage. The report is run. The police are like, oh my God, there's panic. We need to step up and do something. They send 2 undercover officers.
Yes.
Who then go missing.
They vanished without a trace.
And then archaeologist dies, and then Scotland Yard gets involved, right?
Yes.
Good. I need a timeline. Add that to the murder report. Okay. So you didn't know them personally?
No, I mean, they've never actually met them, of course. They just reading their files. I mean, could use more like them, it would seem.
Okay.
And no trace of them was found? Any witnesses?
None that came forward, and it's not exactly a rather forthcoming, part of the city, whatnot. We shut down the usual suspects and whatnot there, and canvassed the area, and didn't come up with much.
Did you happen to have physical descriptions of either man?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, they're in their files. And, the GM looks at his notes. Let's see.
Blah, shortish, tallish. One was taller than the other. One had darker hair than the other.
Jackson was a tall bloke. We're not using.
Sorry, I just like first physical description. Tall.
Well, no, I'm trying to think. Were they using the metric system, or are they using feet back then?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Orion. So they have. They kind of have it's a sort of standardized system, but not really. I don't know what Victorian system.
Well, we'll just go with this. The Victorian equivalent. The Victorian equivalent, whatever the Victorian equivalent of Jackson being 6'2".
Yeah, they didn't set the metric system to 65. 1965.
The 1965, yeah.
Yeah, but like theirs was like all over the freaking place because they had commoners using one thing and then like science using one thing, and
I mean the commoners were using like stone and whatnot, which is like 12 and a like.
They still use stone. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, they still use stone.
Yeah, they still use.
Actually, they don't really use metric completely there either. So
it's very confusing. Just give me a general description. One is tall, one is short.
Yeah, Jackson was, the Victorian era equivalent of whatever measurement gets you to 6'2".
That's tall.
Tall, athletic, and he was he finished used to run marathons every once in a while, apparently, and he could chase down criminals. People wouldn't get away from him. Alexander was a bit shorter. Comes in at 5'11". A little heavier, stronger guy though. Could handle himself in a fight, you know. Sometimes time to get rough with something like that. Yeah, kind of made a good pair. Jackson scored real well on him test. A smart guy.
How do his descriptions compare with the descriptions from the four from Jess?
They match up pretty much dead on.
Barrel full of water. I know nothing.
I see.
Well, that's as clear as nothing.
Well, I do have some good and some bad news for you. Which would you like first?
I guess start with the bad.
The bad news is your witnesses either lied or kept their eyes closed.
How so?
The good news is they're still alive.
Well, how do you know that now?
The body of the Irishman was retrieved from a morgue and was brought there by two men fitting that very description.
Well, now what? Now, well, if they're still alive, why aren't them? Where are they at then? And I'd like them just to abandon their post.
That's a very astute question.
Thanks.
I understand you didn't know them very well. Is this Willoughby fellow around? Perhaps he could give us some indication.
Well, yeah, he's around here someplace. I'm sure we can the desk sergeant get him for us. Or if that O'Malley kid is floating around here. That O'Malley could have put O'Malley. Go get him. Go track down Willoughby. So he kind of nods and leaves.
Now I know you professionals like to stick together and protect one of your own, but you seem a very upstanding man of the law.
Oh, kind of straight up. Of course, I work for the yard. Yeah. I'll get there without him being able to uphold the law.
I am concerned that there may not be as much information on these reports, and she lightly touches the reports with a gloved hand, as it would seem. They seem so... Well, do you have children, Mr. Woosley? Or Inspector Woosley?
Yeah, a couple.
Well, you don't tell strangers just anything, do you? You want them to know only the good things. That is what these remind me of.
And their reputations were impeccable, though. What is it you're saying?
My daughter's reputation is impeccable, if you ask me.
Kind of raises an eyebrow, like, huh. You found something you want to share with me here, ma'am?
Merely an observation. And as much as my operatives, or as much as my people like to believe otherwise, we very much do need your help to solve this.
Well, no. The yard is always happy to help out the crown. We serve at we do serve the queen.
Have you solved many murders, Inspector?
Well, more than I would have liked, of course. I'd rather that no one gets murdered, but I have brought a number of perpetrators to justice.
Of course. And this is our first case involving so many murders. You can see how that would put us in a bit of a pickle. We're lacking someone with experience to put the pieces of this puzzle together for us.
Ah, I kind of smiled, like, oh yeah, of course, I would love to.
Do you hunt, Inspector? Have you ever been fox hunting?
On occasion, yeah.
Well, think of my people, like the hounds, to flesh out the fox. But it's always the hunter that gets the credit, of course.
I had the sound of that. So, about this point, there's a knock at the door, and Woosley kind of barks, enter, and O'Malley comes, and he's got him, comes in, and behind him he's got got an older man, definitely got a significant pretty significant paunch there in his belly there, so he's not exactly in fighting shape. Dressed respectably enough there a bit. Kind of comes in. So like, Willoughby. This is Detective Willoughby. This is Mrs. Featherston. She's from an organization helping us out with this mess. What am I do for you?
I'm concerned about your missing officers.
They were a couple of my best.
Did you know them well?
Oh yeah, I'd used them on a couple of assignments before this.
Have they worked for you long?
Yeah, about let's see, it was about 4 months or so. Yeah. We were partners before that. It seemed to make sense. Yeah, great track record. Yeah, it's just salt of the earth.
And where did they transfer to you from?
Well, they were. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the various departments in the police department there. There's the traffic cops went up. Well, what?
Make something up. I won't know the difference.
Well, they were beat cops for a while. Had great track record, so we moved them up.
Here or this precinct?
No, not to this one. They were at one down they were one in South London there for a bit. We're coming out here.
And they transfer here together? Is that unusual?
Yeah, a little, but I guess let's work together,
And so she totally has like a little notebook. And she, kind of delicately dips her pen, poses it over the page, looks up and says, "And who did you speak to regarding their recommendations?"
It was Sergeant Lewis over there at there.
Still there?
I believe so.
And you don't speak to Sergeant Lewis very often?
I don't have much occasion to. He's there, I'm here.
Then how is it you can trust his recommendation?
I look through the. Well, he's a sergeant. I mean, clearly he's, you know, what's this all about anyway? I don't understand where this is going. He's a sergeant. Why would I not trust him? He's an officer, right? He's a sergeant. He's a member of the police force.
She's gonna glance at Woosley. What is his expression currently looking like?
Concerned?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, it's just we're just trying to be thorough. You understand.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you receive the recommendation in writing, or did you meet with him in person?
He kind of pauses for one second. It's like, writing. It's, you know, it came with him.
Is there a copy of that letter in the file?
Yeah. You kind of sort through it a bit, and you find it you find one for each of them in their personnel files.
I assume the handwriting on the pair is the same or similar.
Yeah, and both are worded similar. It talks to their great service to the department, their high moral character,
Blah blah.
that kind of thing.
Thank you. I think I have everything I need from you. I appreciate your cooperation.
Of course, you know, want to find these guys and, you know, make sure they come back all, you know, safe and sound, of course.
Of course. And she, like, her eyes go from him to the door, very obviously.
Yeah. Well, if there's nothing else, then I gotta get back to work.
And she'll again include Woosley. Inspector.
Yeah, that's all. That's all for right now. Willoughby. If there's any other questions, we'll let you know. So Willoughby kind of looks perplexed and leaves.
Well, it seems we have to speak to a Sergeant Lewis.
Yeah, I guess so. Do you want me to take you over there, or do you have a bride, or?
She bats her eyes and looks just absolutely pleased. That would be very kind of you.
Well, kind of looks at O'Malley. O'Malley will bring them, bring our carriage around.
Carriage ride.
All right. So we will smash cut from there to Fitz and Hezekiah.
Sunday and Fox.
Hurry, ma. Okay. We are off to go see.
We're investigating Harold McNamara, noted adventurer, recently retired to head up the Heritage Institute and most recent murder victim of the terrible beasts of London, or whatever you want to call them there.
Is there a way to zoom in on this thing?
The drawing?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's gotten so tiny.
Yeah, no, there's a zoom. Okay. Let's raise that by 50. No, that's 50% less. No. Zoom, you bastard. Zoom. Okay. 100%. 100%. That's better. Yikes. Okay.
You do realize there's a little magnifying glass you can left or right click with.
Bob, I need you to be quiet right now.
Okay.
Sorry if I stretched the thing
I
too big.
didn't mean it, Bob. You have a way of pointing out my deficiencies that I find slightly offensive. All right, so we're investigating Dr. McNamara Antiquities Heritage Center. Antoine Outpost, trauma possible after a connection ring with a great language with a man carriage. How exactly will
Oh, it's Mike's turn to crash.
I said, so did he freeze up on everyone else's screen, or is that just me crashing again?
He did to. That's all I heard.
Did he just go crazy and fall down?
It's supposed to take effect much sooner, but he's so big.
Well, we know Mike is still talking there.
That'll be the picture YouTube picks.
It's on. YouTube picks some really great thumbnails. I don't even have to mess with that. It's just like YouTube's like, where was someone making a funny face? There's what I want.
So we were going to the Antiquities Heritage Center. Is that the idea?
You guys hadn't decided. There's there's a museum where of course he's have an office, and of course he was over, or there is his home, where I think it's just a matter of where you guys wanted to start.
Well, I'm waiting for him because I'm not going to just, unilaterally decide something.
Oh, why not? Just decide.
Where's my best chance of insulting people from Scotland Yard?
Well, I don't know that either would be hanging out either place right this instant. And probably more people at the Heritage Institute than at his house, but.
Mike broke the internet.
Mike broke the hubble. Mike broke the hubble.
Hey, he's back. Hey, he's leaving the room. Get back in there.
Hey, did you hear me the whole time?
No, you were leaning over to the side.
You leaned over
but
to
I
the
did
side.
say he's probably sitting there talking for an extended period of time.
No, actually, everything went haywire. The monitor turned off, and then my UPS unit started alarming, and one monitor turned on, the other one went off.
Your ice storm.
My wireless modem shut off. It was way.
It's like you leaned over the side, made a digital fart noise, and then that was it.
Yeah. So my apologies about that. It seemed that. Wait a minute. Hold on. I have other things going wrong in my house. I'll be right back.
What you don't know is that Dr. Cornwallis has actually appeared in his living room, and this is the after effects from the space-time ripple.
That would be odd.
And
slightly cool.
Okay, everything is good again. That was weird. Yeah.
We changed Mike's coffee with Folgers.
Whoa, that was weird. Okay. All right.
So we either go to the Antiquity Museum or his house.
Let's start at the house.
Or his office. I think that was the other option.
Well,
his office is at the museum.
He doesn't have.
Does he live alone?
Let's see.
Is he married?
He is not currently married. His most recent wife died while he was on one of his excursions exploring the African interior.
Okay.
Let's go ransack his house. I mean,
okay.
investigate.
Investigate, yes. Investigate and search.
Destroy.
He's been.
You think we can make an entire run without you sending a dead body back to the office?
Not possible. Hey, you're one to talk. You sent a dead body back.
When I was with you.
The dead body back.
Yeah, that is true. You were with me.
I guess we did send an extra body back last time too, didn't we?
Yes, you did with the doctor.
The woman.
It's a competition. Who can send the most dead bodies back to Torchwood?
At the moment, I think every team has sent one back so far. I think every team.
It's a drinking game. Every time a body gets sent back to Torchwood, take a shot.
It just occurred to me, and I haven't said anything yet. How is our guest doing? she's keeping a real low profile.
The witness Jess there.
Yes.
Darkness falls on John.
She's like,
Sure, turning on 5 lights.
she's like, love, tell him I'm gone, but actually, I'll just be back here because you passed me more of those bonbons.
There's been a steady change in her demeanor during the brief time that she's been there at Torchwood. And
Okay, turning off the Hue kitchen.
I'm so
and of course hasn't been there overly long, but has taken to when they're there, when she's there, I'm spending some time with Mrs. Featherston.
Okay, excellent. Just curious. Yeah, let's just head there and see what happens. It's not our fault that dead bodies occur when we were around. I mean, they just are there. It's not like I made any.
I mean, in theory, it's kind of your fault.
No, actually, it's not. It's not.
Could be.
I'm sure it's not. You're just saying that because I'm an American.
No. I am not. Same as the rest of these cats.
Okay. Given the use of that slang just there, you certainly aren't, and I don't understand where that came from. I take it we are we taking a carriage over?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a ride there.
I take it you lived in a nice section of London?
Oh yes. There's his time as an adventurer has paid quite well, both in terms of various payouts for his discoveries and things that he has brought back.
Who is his I forget the term they use. Who is his backer? Who is his backer?
It varied from expedition to expedition. Some were funded privately, and some were funded by the it was called like the Royal Geological Service, the Victorian equivalent of that.
Okay. All right. How long has he been back in town? The more I think about it, I'm wondering what he had. Did he have that right? Did he have? Never mind. Everything's speculation at this point.
Let's see. Let's see. Looking at my notes. Let's see. He retired from his adventuring life upon completing his most recent expedition and returning safely to London, and that was approximately 2 months ago at this point.
You know, these adventures are nothing but glory whores. I mean, how amazing you've gone and discovered a place that people already live.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't exist unless
yesterday I discovered my bathroom.
But the British didn't discover it first, you see. If they had, then it would be worthwhile. But until then, it's just some place that no one knows about. That's kind of how it goes. Just because you lived there first is kind of irrelevant.
All right.
They'll send their criminals there. And then they'll create a nation. Seems to keep happening to them. You know, I bet that Australia thing is not going to work out the way they think.
It's just not going to work out. Just saying.
You think they'd learn, but
Australia, India, it's just not gonna happen, right? It's just not gonna go well.
Well, 2 of their very specific penal colonies turned into countries. Must be so mad. Like,
doesn't work out.
When did they suddenly discover government?
God damn it! Who told them about that?
They did it again.
But this keeps happening. We should probably invest in some pattern recognition or something.
Didn't do that anymore. All right.
You guys, after a bit of a ride, arrive at the McNamara's stately McNamara Manor.
Meanwhile, stately McNamara Manor.
And
he doesn't live in town.
No, he was a bit outside of town there.
Okay. Sweet.
One thing I could say is there's less sewage in the street here.
Well, yeah, there is that. Nice old place, though.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Is anybody there? Can we tell from the outside?
From the outside, it does look like someone is here. Might not be overly surprising. A house of this size and McNamara statue, there would be some service staff that may still be on hand. Given his recent
question. I guess they haven't found another situation yet. Right? Shall I knock or shall you knock?
Does it matter?
Well, these are Londoners. It matters. I think I'll knock. I use the knocker. Give a good knocking.
You right.
Give a good knocking, and promptly the door is answered. You're kind of stereotypical butler type. Answers the door.
Wait a minute.
What?
Never mind.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. Stereotypical butler type answers the door. He's well dressed and well kept.
Or am I doing the talking here?
No, that's all right. Oh, we could take turns.
Okay.
Dazzle him with our verbal aikido.
The two of you. May I help you, gentlemen?
Yes, we're from the Torchwood Institute. We're here to investigate passing of your former land or master here, Dr. McNamara?
Torchwood Institute. Is that? I'm unfamiliar with.
I pull out the paperwork. There you go. It's all right here. Work for the
Oh,
Queen.
well, of course. I want you to come in.
Of course.
Certainly.
Who might you be?
Yes. My name is Mortimer Wilson.
Mortimer Wilson. You are terrible at that. Mortimer Wilson. We'll take it. That's pretty comical. All right.
So, may I call you Morty?
I walk around him and just kind of do a quick circuit, just kind of looking around.
And we're looking.
Has anybody else in the house been here since the passing of Dr. McNamara?
Well, and there's been a number of members of the police force through here, of course.
Where did they?
From Scotland Yard been through.
Was one of them Mr. Woosley?
Yes, that was the fellow from Scotland Yard.
Where did they spend their time?
Well, and in all of the parts of the house where Mr. McNamara spent time. I didn't come into the kitchen or the servants' quarters, of course, or anything like that. But
I'd like to take a look at the kitchen.
Sure, if you would like.
Probably the servants.
Ramsey.
Wherever he didn't look.
Take you way, but most of the people were interested in his living areas, his study.
Did you ever see Dr. McNamara get into any altercations with anyone?
Granted, he wasn't. Aside from the past couple of months, he wasn't in residence that often, but by and large, he seemed to get along with most people.
But anyone specifically he did not get along with? I mean, he is a adventurer type. He probably has some adversaries.
Rivals. Romantic or otherwise.
Well, I don't necessarily wish to speak ill of the dead, of course. He did.
Well, we are investigating his passing, so anything you say may be able to help us find out who did this thing.
Well, the most disreputable people I can think of that might fit your bill. He did like to spend time at there's an opium den near his museum that he likes to spend time at. I can't imagine the types of people that would inhabit that.
Oh, I can imagine.
Did he partake in opium?
He was quite fond of it, yes.
Did he have any heirs? I mean, who's running the household right now, apart from, of course, you?
He has an adult son who is. It was actually in America, and we have sent word. He's going to be wrapping up his affairs, and then he will return and see to the final dispensation of Mr. McNamara's estate.
What's his name?
His name is also
Dr. McNamara.
Major,
First name is Doctor.
Major.
Major what?
Yeah, no, his name is also Harold McNamara. He's named after Mr. McNamara.
Harold McNamara the second.
Yes.
I prefer Jim Jr.
Shall we take a quick look around then? We'll take a look at his study. I presume that it's been well and truly gone over already. However, we'd like to take a look as well.
Absolutely. Always happy to cooperate.
Did he have,
go ahead, sorry.
Did he have any other properties that he spent time at?
Let's see. Well, there's this one. He does have a summer house in summer house. He does have a small cottage in Scotland that he was fond of going to.
Has he been there recently?
I don't believe he's been there since his retirement. No, I believe he was planning on going there after he got established at the the Heritage Institute.
Is that where his office is when he's working in town?
Yes. He has an office set up there now that he's was running their antiquities programs.
On the day that he died, did he act strangely? Mention anything?
Well, he had been a bit on edge. A couple of them kind of positive. About a part of the week leading up to his demise, he was a bit on edge. Didn't say much about it. Assumed it was a strain of adapting back to civilized life and getting things going at the institute.
Did he have any visitors that you didn't know or that were new?
Yes, there was one gentleman.
Did you happen to get that name?
He would not. Oddly enough, he would not give me his name.
But the doctor agreed to see him?
It did not seem like he wanted to see him. He seemed a bit reluctant to take the meeting, but...
Can you describe the gentleman?
Yes. The UK adventures. About kind of points at you. Probably about your age.
Your height?
Kind of a squirrely chap. Hair's a bit mussed.
Hair unkempt.
Kind of distinctive, kind of blocky face. Square chin. Like to not to speak out of turn, but the kind of person that likes to seems to be trying to, how to say it, appear to be of higher class than he really is.
Okay.
That kind of thing. He was very well dressed, but it didn't seem to fit him. There's something very unsettling about him. Very piercing gray eyes.
It's Frank Booth.
What color was his hair?
His hair was brown.
Okay. How long did they meet for?
It was about a part of an hour.
Did you overhear anything?
Not that I routinely eavesdropped on Mr. McNair's conversation.
I actually laugh and I say, look, you and I both know that for you to run this household properly, you must anticipate your employer's needs well before they become aware of actually needing them. So it's okay. It's not as if we're going to blame you for being thorough in your information.
Well, the part that I overheard as I was trying to figure out if perhaps, given this unusual man's manners, if perhaps the police need to be summoned. The voices got a bit raised, and this odd gray-eyed man, because I don't think it was something that it did not sound like Mr. McNamara's voice, said, "You can't hide it from me forever." I will find it over your dead body if I have to.
And you had no idea of what he was speaking of?
I do not, unfortunately.
Had he mentioned
a ring?
Oh. Well, not directly. That he was hiding a ring or whatnot, but Mr. McNamara did have quite a nice ring that he usually wore.
He described it?
And he describes a ring that he thought was made of brass, but could very well be made of gold, with some very beautiful etchings, some of which were circular in nature, that Mr. McNamara brought back not on the most recent expedition, but it was 2 expeditions ago. It was a trinket that he brought back with him from one of his explorations in Africa.
Very interesting. Do you also give all this information to Scotland Yard, I take it, as well?
Yes. I gave it to him. That well, he didn't ask all of these questions. Of course, just kind of talked with him. If he had trouble with anyone or anything like that. He didn't ask about the ring or anything like that. That was the other ones that showed up that were asking about the ring.
The other ones?
Yes, after the detective, there were a couple of London police officers that showed up doing they said they were doing follow-ups for Detective Woosley.
Were they Constable Jackson and Constable Alexander, perhaps?
That's what they identified themselves as, yes.
Where did they look?
What was that? You guys talked at the same time on my end.
Go ahead, Bob.
I was going to say, where did they go in the house?
Where did they go? They were mostly concerned with Mr. McNamara's study. They spent quite a bit of time and they were going over everything in there, especially looking through things that he'd through his journals. Not constantly asking if this was all of them.
And did they take anything when they left?
They took the journals that he'd kept for some of his expeditions. However, they seemed to be a bit frustrated. I overheard them complaining about missing pages.
Do you ever know which expeditions specifically, or I'm not sure how well they're cataloged at the moment?
Oh, well, Mr. McNamara kept them quite well organized. It was his most recent expedition, the one that he just came back from before retiring.
I'd like to see his study.
Where was his most recent expedition? Was that in Africa as well?
Yes, he was quite fond of going there. It was
which part?
And trying to trying to find the source of the Nile and just so it was quite a fascinating continent. Lots to explore, lots to see. Also enjoyed his time with them with the natives there, as I recall.
All right, let's take a look at that study.
So he takes you up to the study and kind of opens the door and says, they left quite the mess in here. We I hope it was not a problem that we cleaned up after them, of course. Cleaned up after them, of course.
Of course. We'll take a look around. Well, we'll leave you to return to your duties. If we have any questions, we'll come and find you.
Yeah. So kind of, nods and leaves you to it.
Okay, Fitz.
Yep.
Question.
Yep.
You were going to hide a couple of pages or several pages from a journal that you didn't want anybody find. Where would you hide them?
If I may interject as GM here, especially given Fitz, if I recall properly, you have quite the photographic memory.
Yep.
When you were in Mr. McNamara's favorite opium den, you did acquire an unopened letter from the proprietor's office from Dr. McNamara's institute.
I opened the envelope. Fishing out of my pocket. I would keep them in this envelope, probably.
What the? Oh, wait a minute. How did you get those?
I took them from the opium den that he'd been hanging about in.
You've already been to the opium den?
Yeah. Nice fellow. Chinese.
Typically. Well, this day and age, yes. So, okay, all right. This work. Okay, let's see it. Given that you've already performed the magic of having already gone to the opium den and gotten whatever, man.
So you, as I'm almost on key for producer tear it open and find you've got probably about a dozen pages that have clearly been torn out of something, out of a journal of some sort. They are they're written. They're handwritten, of course. Unlike myself personally, McNamara has some very great handwriting and whatnot. I'm going to go into word by word breakdown of all 12 pages, but scanning them, you find diagrams of the ring, and it would seem that these pages cover McNamara finding where the ring came from in Africa and finding there a village with an obelisk with markings that match this. And after spending some time with it, found what the markings, what at least some of the markings mean, and what the ring does. It's not just a ring; it seems to be a control node for an object that. Let's see. Nope, I moved that. Where did I put it? That's all. Hold on, as I made the mistake of organizing files on my computer, and now I don't know where I put something.
I thought, never mind. I was going to make some snide comment about Max, but I'm not going to do it.
I didn't think you guys had folders.
There's folders all over the place. What are you talking about?
Did you say it controlled the obelisk?
Well, no, he found the markings on the obelisk that helped him kind of decipher some of the markings as to what this thing does. And if I can screen share without crashing everything.
What the hell is that?
Well, you've seen a similar design that was drawn repeatedly on the top pages of the coroner's file papers that you found in his office as he was succumbing to his transformation.
So he was drawing this while he was transforming?
Seemed to be on his mind.
Interesting.
And when questioned about it, he kind of zoned out and talked about kind of how hypnotic it was. It is both the etchings, the non-circular etchings. It seemed to be instructions on how to use this thing. It would appear to be both a receptacle of knowledge and potentially a weapon. The circular engravings are seem to be a warning about not using it.
Don't they know that when you warn someone not to use a weapon, it's the surest thing to get them to use the weapon?
Here, use this weapon. No, don't tell me what to do.
Actually, that would actually work. If you tell someone to use something and use it right now, they're probably not going to if they don't know what it does.
Huh.
Well,
so he's got the ring. The ring and the is the control node for the but for this thing.
Oh crap!
And the ring was stolen from him after his hand was ripped off.
Well, presumably that was probably why his hand ripped off. But we had the ring.
Yes, you guys found the ring in the hand was ripped off is the hand that he wore the ring on. You guys found the ring left behind in the carriage by whoever was inside of it.
Which means
you guys are currently in possession of the ring, wherever you guys have put it.
Wait, who's in possession of the ring now?
Well, Well, I assume you guys left it at the column. I assume you guys left it back at Torchwood headquarters because you and Hezekiah and the lieutenant found it in the carriage wreckage and would have brought it back at that point. So I assume it's at Torchwood headquarters.
Did we give it to Mrs. Featherston?
It was never. It was the ring was mentioned. We never actually said on camera where it is. I just assumed it was at Torchwood headquarters.
Okay, I mean that's fine. Yeah. That's a reasonable thing.
Hezekiah, are you wearing that ring right now?
Yeah,
we're giving it to Barnaby, and he threw himself into a time hole, so it'll be fine, right?
Good. This ring looks great on me. You know it does. Okay. I guess we'll look around just in case we find something interesting, but frankly, I think we got what we need already.
So were the constables in the carriage as well?
No, they weren't. They were actually, they had been just prior to this questioned by me. Vigorously questioned by me. And then we had to pursue the carriage because it was evident that the carriage was the most important thing at that particular moment.
So we lost the constables.
These constables are beginning to bother me. I wonder where they're going. They aren't. Did you happen to? Well, you wouldn't have known to ask about them when you were at Scotland Yard yesterday or earlier today.
Nope.
They are.
We need to take what we found back.
Yes, we do.
I'd like to actually ask the coroner about this picture now that we have another version of it.
I'm more concerned. No, that's not correct. I am concerned.
Did he hold the ring? Is it the ring causing the hallucination? Hallucination?
Hallucination. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I thought it was a tonic or something, or some kind of something that was introduced. But the gentleman at the office, when he kind of went around the bend, had no way of knowing if he'd actually ingested anything or not. Hey, okay, yeah. We should head back. And I'm concerned that if this thing's a weapon.
Oh, one thing. I want to go into the kitchen before we go.
Okay. Did it?
I want to see if they have any of the tonic here.
Good call. Was the village name mentioned?
Wakanda.
Soon to be a nation, yes. Because they have a rock on the
it's
now we know how it got there. Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Let's see. Yes. The village of Yurlu.
Yurlu?
Yurlu. Why? I'll put that in the chat there.
All right. That is some very, very important information, because if this thing is also a weapon, that's why they want it so badly. Which means they will be willing to do anything to get it if they have an idea of where things are. And they might, because the last person to pursue them was us. But I don't know if they know who we are. Yeah, we should get back.
Wait, Was there anything in the kitchen?
You do not. At first glance, you don't find anything. But if you ask for the tonic, it's like, well, yeah, there's some. Mr. McNamara has become quite fond of it since he returned.
I hate that tonic. I just want you to know that.
It
It should have nothing to do with anything, but it keeps showing up.
Should we take it back with us?
Sure. We'll take a bottle.
The servants look confused and hand you one.
How many bottles does he have?
We're looking at like a half dozen. He has lots of it.
What is this treat?
Everything.
Just supposed to help with aches and pains. And Mr. McNamara had a lot of them, you know. Life of adventure is a hard one.
Did it appear to work?
Oh, yes. There was some mornings he couldn't get out of bed until he'd had it. And then he was moving around like a young man.
Uh-huh. All righty then. Try not to take all of that in one place. All right, let's go. Bryce, when we step outside, I look around.
Yeah.
Just scanning the area to see if anybody's about who doesn't look like they should be there.
Well, we're in the countryside here, so
exactly
makes it much easier to.
Exactly.
You don't see anyone. The coast is clear.
All right.
Or is it?
Is it? All right.
I think we need to get back to the headquarters.
I think so too. We return, beeline fashion.
Yeah. So you guys return to the headquarters. Heading back there. Getting towards a pretty good place to kind of stop for the evening here. Don't want to get involved in too much.
Well,
all right. So we cut back to the warehouse where the tenant. There's no trace of Barnaby. There is a rope that just kind of seems to trail off into nothing in this carriage.
Barnaby?
I'm assuming I don't hear any call.
No, there's no response. You don't hear anything.
Is the rope still there?
Yeah, the rope is there. It's weird because it followed Barnaby into nothing, and so it's literally just kind of like you've got the carriage, right? Mm-hmm. And like, so this rope is just kind of like almost like suspended in air in the middle of this carriage, but it kind of trails off into nothing almost. Like you've got the rope here, and then like the rope is like it's pulled taut on nothing that you can see.
I'm gonna tie the rope. And I'm going to try to climb down into nothing to see if I go there.
Yes, follow the madness. Yes.
Oh.
For science.
I have to come and find you. Damn it.
So,
don't worry, they know where we went. It's fine.
So you feel that same kind of weird sensation of falling, and it's an odd thing, right? Because you're climbing, and it's like it's got, and the rope is you're climbing. You climbed ropes, you're a military man, right? But you're climbing along this rope that has no business being in air, yet it is. So you feel this weird, start to feel the weird sensation that you were feeling before, and after some time, the carriage starts to kind of fade from view around you. Meanwhile, Barnaby, as previously discussed, there was kind of this brilliant J.J. Abrams-esque lens flare that obscured your goggles, and when it passes, you hear the whine of your equipment powering down. If we'd invented low battery warnings, they would be on right now.
Okay.
So,
well, okay. I don't have an eidetic memory, but is it safe to say I can remember most of the readings or the general idea of the readings?
Oh God,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You rolled well enough that, trust me, this is like a once in a lifetime kind of experience. You're going to remember all of what you've seen there and be able to recreate it and stuff. Don't worry about that. I
didn't know if I needed to pause to journal everything.
Well, you might want to write it down at some point, I guess. But right now, it's pretty fresh in your memory.
Okay.
As you of course, you've got your goggles on, which kind of obscure your actual sight until you take them off. You become aware of noise wherever you are, and it's kind of a clanking of silverware.
A clanking of what?
Silverware, maybe.
Oh, silverware. Okay. I lift the goggles off actually, since it's not working at this point, and kind of get an idea of where I'm at, and where the noise is coming from.
Well, that becomes evidence pretty quickly. You lift the goggles off your head, and you are clearly in a dining room of some sort, rather well appointed. There are a couple of big windows. You see the sun beaming through them. Interestingly enough, clearly rising, which is odd because it was late afternoon when you were exploring the carriage. And the plane of silverware is a gentleman eating, looks like he was eating breakfast. Odd looking man with square chin and gray eyes, kind of looking up at you from the table, just a tiny bit perplexed.
Dear sir, maybe you can help me here. Where exactly have I landed?
And as he prepares to answer, I think we will hold it there.
Oh my goodness. This poor man, if he's not involved in all this.